Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Fiction and Feelings. Now, today we're diving deep into Verity. I know this is an old book, but it's been on my TBR for so long, and I finally read it, and it was so insane, like actually crazy. I was like, what is going on? And as a psychologist, every single character just made me think these are perfect case study characters because it's telling you about trauma, it's teaching you about motherhood ambivalence, it's teaching you about like just so many different things, identity stuff, relationship issues. I'm like, what is going on? So let's get into this video. I will try to insert some clips of me reacting to different parts of the book. So it was a live reaction of me talking to the camera as soon as I read something, and then we'll also dive deep into each character.
I'm sitting in my car and I'm at So Be It chapter 6. Like I'm about to start So Be It chapter 6. I have so many thoughts on Verity. I am so I wasn't can you tell I'm struggling? I was just like, why is Loan so all about Jeremy? Why is she just like Jeremy? She's just like, Verity is evil, Verity is bad, Verity is a psychopath, and there's no sympathy for Verity whatsoever. Not saying that there should be, but there's no sympathy for Verity whatsoever. It's just like Jeremy. You realize that this man is married, and you're just like, I definitely want to sleep with Jeremy. I'm pretty much in love with Jeremy. You're reading a book that his wife wrote about him, and this is helping you to fall more in love with him. And you're focused on the fact that the wife is a psychopath, and you're just like, how are you not clocking yourself? Because you are also doing crazy things. Like, Verity is a mess, but like, so are you, girlfriend. So are you. You're literally crazy as well. There are some mental health issues, and it's not just the sleepwalking. Like, yeah, the sleepwalking is a thing, but like, she has this like, holy, I'm innocent, and I know that he's married, and I feel bad about all of these things. And it's like, do you feel bad? Because you're still laying on his bed, on their bed, about to do things to yourself, thinking about the man, when you are literally right below his wife, whose bed is creaking because she's in a comatose kind of psychosis, kind of catatonic state. And nothing's wrong with that. You're like, I'm going back to my office. You're going back to Verity's office, my friend. Verity's office, not yours, Verity's. You're like inserting yourself into her life. Are we having the same experience? Is the sanity in the room with us? Because it doesn't feel like if the sanity is in the room with anyone at this point. And then Jeremy is just like too innocent. Like, the book is portraying him as like too innocent right now. So I'm just like, no, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. There's so many things wrong. There's so many red flags. Everyone has red flags. The red flags are going up, left, right, and center. And I'm just like, this is a mess. There's so many red flags. There's too many red flags. Loan is crazy. Verity is crazy. What the hell is going on?
I'm starting to think that this woman is just insane. Because what do you mean you were there on the couch with her husband? You see her at the top of the stairs. You freak out, and then you're like, I'm going to spend the night still. I'm going to stay there still. And I want him to stay in the room with me. Why are you still there? Woman, What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? No, this is not even making any sense at this point because she has no desire to live, clearly. And even if she's just crazy and it's not real, like, why are you still there? And yes, Verity is manipulative and literally got herself out of that conversation where Jeremy is angry that she's putting Harper second and thinking that Shaston is better than Harper. And she just like totally twisted the situation. I'm just like, wow. Wow. Crazy. This book is crazy. Okay, so they're about to do the do. And I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. But has it not occurred to her that there has to be a reason why the money hasn't hit her account for her to leave yet? Like, that might just be me, but we aren't finding it suspicious that you're staying there. He wants you to stay there more, and you haven't received the money that you're supposed to receive. Right. Also, she just cussed out Verity, and that was hilarious because Verity didn't do nothing but pee. Oh, the two of them playing a game, and it is crazy. If Verity is actually faking this, she is a great con. But haven't we read the book and realized that she's a great con? I don't know, man. No. Mm-mm. We're at the headboard scene, and she left bite marks right next to where Verity left bite marks. How are we not seeing that this is a problem? You bit deeper so that he remembers you more. This woman is crazy, actually, because there ain't no way. He has you wrapped around his finger, and he is crazy too. I am convinced 100% they're all crazy. She just tried to get pregnant on purpose. I'm actually in shock because she's actually crazy. But like, what do you mean? She I just finished listening to Dear Jeremy because I listened to that. Verity is so entitled in how she speaks. Like, I'm gonna do this, and you're gonna know that it was for the best for you because it's like so condescending. How could you think that of me? You wrote some messed up things. Like, even if you say it wasn't the truth, you're insane. You literally wrote that. Regardless of if it was the opposite you were thinking, you had the capability of thinking that and writing it down and saying, this is a good book. It's twisted, and I get that that's supposed to be the point because it's supposed to be for an author. It's supposed to, as the letter says, it's supposed to be for people to see how to do the exercise to be convincingly a villain or whatever. And it's just like, that's all cool and great. But anyone who reads that would believe that. It doesn't matter how well you think you know a person, you're not in someone else's head. And therefore, if they admit those things written down on paper and you find it, they don't show it to you, you find it, then it's like, of course, in this moment, I realized that you're crazy because you low key are crazy for writing that down. And you have to admit that to be able to write that is crazy, even if you don't want to do that to your children, even if you don't believe that, like it's still insanity. And then you're like, I can't believe you believed it, and I'm gonna take crew away from you because you just want to kill me. Also, Jeremy reading it and then pretending in front of Loan, I knew you were twisted. I know red flags were there, and I knew that that was all pretend, and I knew that he knew. Like, I knew that everybody had red flags. Also, Lauren, you're crazy. You impregnated yourself. And then you're like, oh, we're living our happy life and we're encouraging crew to keep going to therapy. You're just as twisted as the two of them. All of the people in this book are weird. Wow. Okay, so let's talk about Verity first. Since the book is titled after her, Verity was just disturbing. Even if we think about her manuscript as an exercise, it's still very disturbing to write down the things that she wrote down. So, some mothers experience maternal ambivalence. This can happen through postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, where you can feel intrusive thoughts coming up about wanting to harm your child or children that have come out of you. You can feel a disconnect with them. You can have those intrusive thoughts. That's not abnormal. That can be seen as normal because that's something that happens to people. What isn't normal is being like, I'm going to write it all down and I'm going to be so competitive and obsessed with these paranoid ideations of, let's not say that it's not normal. Let's not, because people go through a lot and we never know what people are going through. But to me, it was just like, you're disturbing and you do need help. And not saying this and being manipulative, and the fact that in the manuscript, so even if you're team letter or you're team manuscript, because apparently people are team letter versus team manuscript, saying that she was just faking it and she's just a good writer and the letter was the truth. There's manipulation underneath in Verity in general. So either one of those could just be manipulation. All of it could be manipulation. The sheer fact that in her manuscript, like saying the things that she said to her husband out of just manipulation to get him to feel a certain way. It's like, that's in you. Whether you actively do it or not, that's still in you. And in the letter could have been a manipulative way of her just trying to backtrack so that he didn't harm her. But it's still there. The manipulation is still there. And therefore, you're still having this narcissism and personality disorder, like elements that are coming out because she's actually just like in competition with them because she wants to be the center of her husband's world. And it's crushing her that she isn't. And you're now targeting your children and you're getting angry at your children for this, even if it's fake. Like, you're still bringing that out of somewhere. And the sheer fact that moments, like days after you lost your second child, the second child that you lost, you were able to write down in that manuscript. Like, how am I supposed to believe that that's true? How am I supposed to believe that that's true, that you were just doing an exercise? Like, that you were just so stricken with grief that you let it out in this disturbing way. Like, it's still disturbing. it's still disturbing. I was just like, you're literally showing a lack of empathy for like anything at this point. And it's so, I keep using the word crazy, and I hate to use that word when describing people, but like this character was just like mind boggling. Just looking at her, looking at narcissism and looking at narcissistic personality disorders and just like personality disorders in general is sometimes baffling because of how the symptoms are with like borderline personality. You're very impulsive, and she does show signs of like being impulsive with her thought, but she also is very dedicated. I know that the one wanted to be like she's a psychopath or she's a sociopath with how she's obsessed, but like the thing about Lowen is she's not realizing how aligned she is. But we're supposed to be talking about Verity. I if I let's start talking about Lowen actually, because with Lowen it's just like, dude, you're obsessed as well. Verity is obsessed, but you're also obsessed. You're obsessed with this character that you read in a book that's a real person, but like if it's made up, then you got obsessed with him based on lies. You're falling in love with a man based on lies if it's not true. And if it is true, like how are you just like, she was just like, Jeremy, 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 like feeling sorry and being like, I want to replace Verity essentially. Like everything was poor Jeremy. And that was like, red flags, girl. Do you not have intuition? Do you not have intuition? Because I'm feeling that you should have intuition and you don't have intuition, and that is crazy to me. You are doing some wild things and you are just ignoring the fact that he has red flags as well. Because he was with his wife for a long time and he was just okay with some of the things that she was doing. Like, yeah, she was manipulative, but also he was just oblivious to some things or like pretending to be oblivious to things. There's no way that he didn't find certain things out. Like, you have to wonder how it's that intense for him. She was so obsessed with their life and what she read. She was literally trying to become Verity. The part where she bites the headboard and is almost like in a competitive way, being like, I want to bite the headboard deeper than Verity is so that I'm the one that leaves the mark. It's like an obsessive love. And it's just like, do you not see how insane that is? That you're literally just like trying to replace a woman that is upstairs, not able to function. That's okay. That you're saying that it's not okay, but you're in their bed, just like ready for this, like thinking about him in this fantasy. You're trying to replace her. You're taking all the part, like even there were parts of her reading the manuscript, like something positive would happen. And she would only hang on to the negative things that Verity did, which she did some real messed up things in the manuscript. So like you do stick with the messed up things, but she wasn't trying to look for anything good in Verity. She was just trying to look for bad. She would skip through the parts where she would be jealous. So after a while, she started skipping chapters that didn't have anything that was not bad in it. So she just wanted bad so that she could convince herself that it was okay to want what she wanted, essentially. Like she's saying that, no, this is so bad and I can't want this. And I know that he wants me too, but he can't want me. Like, it's like almost trying to trick the reader into believing that she's not as obsessed as she is. And then there's so many coincidences, like the money not going into her account. How are you not suspicious of Jeremy? Like, You're saying that you think that you're crazy because Verity can't move or whatever. But nothing in your brain was like, maybe Jeremy has something to do with this. You're like, okay with every single thing that he does. In fact, you love every single thing that he does. And at no point were you questioning anything about this man being creepy, except for the first time that you were there. Like the first day you were there, it was like, oh, maybe he was doing this bad thing. And then after that, you were just like, no, he's amazing. He's the love of my life. But then at the end of the book is when you want to be like, I don't want him to figure out any of this thing. Like maybe that was made up. And for those of you who read the bonus chapter after they unalived Verity, and he unalived another person, the rage, the anger management issues that this man has, like he was manipulative as well. He literally manipulated you into thinking that he didn't know when he did know. And then you come into the room and you're like, oh, we have to unalive her this way. Are you okay? Are both of you okay? You're okay that he was okay with that. Who gave you like this godlike complex to be like, we have to end her life because she's done bad things? You have no proof of this other than a manuscript, which is just like you're taking that and being like, yep, she did those things 100%, and we have to unalive her. Pardon? What? How does that make sense? Like, does Jeremy have antisocial personality disorder because he's so impulsive, but also manipulative, and also has a disregard for just people, unaliving people, sorry? He literally was just like, yep, we're doing it because we have to do this. It's us or them. And at least we can see in Lowen some sort of like remorse or some sort of conscience after he does it to like the second person. And she's like, no, he isn't just like, this is so Joel from you. Like, this is literally Joel coded, but like, I know Verity came first, but like, or maybe it didn't. I don't know. But he just has no sort of remorse. And like, at least with Lowen, we're seeing, no, he did this for us. No, he's crazy and I should get away from him. With him, it's like, no, he's good. He's solid. What? And all of this is just rubbing off on his last child, who is currently alive and just gone through such trauma that at this point, I think he's just like, he put his sister outside. Are we just gonna gloss over that? He put his sister outside. He witnessed another sister being unalived. He lost one sister before that. In his mind, he's just gonna lose the third sister. So he's now actively trying to be like, well, I'm gonna distance myself. I'm gonna cut off my emotions and just put her outside because I don't want anything to do with her. He's so traumatized. The dysregulation, the emotional dysregulation and the detachment is so apparent. Like he literally he's traumatized. He probably has like childhood PTSD because of the loss. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if reliving those things and that's why he wakes up to go look for his dad. Like, or at least that's what we've been told, that he wakes up. Like, there's so many signs. And I like that Lauren was like, yeah, he should go to therapy and he should be in therapy. But I feel like they were so wrapped up in themselves, prioritizing him pushing a new relationship onto him, pushing a new sibling onto him. Like, and let's not even mention about how Lowen did that on purpose. I feel like Verity asks really hard questions and is uncomfortable because it stirs up conversation, or at least it should stir up conversation. But like how love can be so obsessive, because love can't actually be that obsessive. Like, we might not unalive people, but I'm sure that you've thought about it, or thought about, well, not necessarily thought about unaliving somebody, but thought about harming somebody else because you want to fight. Like, people fight over each other all the time, physically fight, argue, and you have this obsessiveness. So, like, do you have the patterns that some of these characters have? Maybe not to that extreme. And we might be thinking, oh my goodness, that's so crazy. Like, I would never do that. But, like, how far would you go? And for mothers who do have the psychosis from postpartum depression, or just postpartum psychosis, like, isn't, it's like a natural thing for some people. Like, their brain just does that. And they'll feel so isolated and won't want to tell people, just like how in Verity's manuscript, whether we're believing that that's her thing, like she was confessing in a manuscript because she couldn't talk to people about where her mind actually was. And that's why you need help. And you should get help. But she was more focused on taking care of it herself. And I wonder if like there are way more people out there who do struggle with those things and don't want to talk about it because they don't want to be judged and they don't want to be called crazy and be potentially misunderstood. So yeah, we'll leave that food for thought of, do I have these patterns? Do I see parts of myself in these characters? How far would I go for love? Would I also be like Jeremy and have that rage and try to protect people, but like also not protect them? Would I be as obsessive as Lowen? Would I be as troubled as Verity? Do we see some of the trauma that happened to Crew? What are your thoughts? This is an older book, but I read it and had it on my TBR, especially because I know that the movie is coming out in May next year. So start the conversation, guys. Bye.